Hello folks, welcome to Harrison Building Lego Sets. I'm Brian Harrison, and today we're looking at going to be building this church. Again, I'm doing an audio narration over because of my camera. I did do this originally with the camera, but the audio was really buzzy and really for some reason it's not that great. It was never that great of a camera, but with the audio mic sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm doing a voiceover for this, so I hope it goes well. Just to let you know, I'm doing this after the fact that I tried to fix the audio, it's not working, and so maybe I'll have to do something better in the future. But for right now, I wanted to make this video a good video, so let's see what we can do and making and going on with this narration. Anyway, I want to say thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, leave a like on the video, hit the bell notification if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Rumble, please don't forget to follow us there as well. Hit the like and comment section. It is much appreciated, and thank you so much for watching. And that's where we're at. You can see right here the view of the church, uh, and that's how far I have gotten so far. That's just it's been a cool build all this time. It's been one of those that I enjoy and I do like, except for, like, again, I'll say this: the stained glass. We it's the coloring could be better stuff. Now you see me with a bag. I'm ready to open it. Usually I like to have the noise of, I open the bag and you can hear the noise. You may not hear it this time. Sorry about that. Again, the audio was really, really buggy. So I have to do this a different way and try to, improve upon this. And I do. I hope someday in the future I can get a better camera while we're opening this bag. Usually I'm quiet while we open this bag. So here you go. I do, when I built this Lego thing, as I'm looking at this bag and getting ready to open it. Um, it is a small space, so I do the best I can with what I have. And so sometimes bigger Lego sets have a little bit harder time because the bigger the box, but I still enjoy it. I still have fun. It's still fun to figure out how to build on these in this area and in this space. And so, like, I was able to expand the city. As you can see, there's if you look over, there's a little bit of an excavator, a small one, not like the bigger one, which I would love. That would be a cool one to have too. But this one I've had for quite a while, um, and it's this church is kind of next to my city. I had to put on base plate, so if you don't ever see everything, I had to build sometimes in the back, not in this video, but I've built in the past. It's because I mills plate it so I could keep it to the level of my city, and it was cheaper for me to just add on and kind of change some things. So I did. Even the actual city itself which was easy, moved into its new location. I expanded its base plate. It was like 32 by 32 base plate, I want to say. Basically a standard, just like your, not quite your larger size base plate. Now it's on the larger size base plate plus some, so we could build the church. And so it's easier to. I had some pieces. I pulled them together and mills plated this out, and it worked out. And it saved me some money. I had to still spend a little money, but it saved me more money than if I would have bought a lot more stuff I needed to just mills plate the church itself. So I decided, hey, let's save some money. I had to buy some green base plates that to stick on top. I had to buy a few. I only used like one or two or something like that. Anyway, I think it was actually, no, it was one. It was like one or two. But I wanted to be best. It was cheaper to buy on bulk, so I bought some bulk green base plates to put in there. That's what you're seeing. I just talked about this while we're opening the bag. I take a while to open the bag. It's not a slow deal. It takes some time for me to get here and open the bag, as you can see. And usually, like I said, I'm quiet, so opening it up and you're doing it, while we're doing that. But you can look over the side. There's the excavator. I call Bob the Builder. He's just a little bit over there. You can also see there is some stores that were from Lego that came with the Christmas set with the tram. And you do see the stores on the video on, like, my city update, but I never built that. I built that before I had started this Lego channel, and I built the trolley. That's my first step into sort of having some trains, is a trolley. I have a trolley, okay, that goes on a track. I do have a few tracks, but not really enough to make anything serious for it to run on, or for me to at least but I have a few tracks. I guess we got some later on, like a small Lego pack of tracks. Now I find it better the alternative version. Alternative tracks, you could buy it and make like a whole circle and buy it for a decent price. So I may have to go more with that if I want to do something like that in the future. But yeah, this is an alternative build. This is not like in a sense Lego, the Lego brand. This church is Rebrick, and I may have misspelled it a bit on the intro, but I thought I had it right. But it's called Reobix, and they build some. They do some other cool stuff. This is a church that I got, um, and it showed up at my door one day, and I've been excited ever since. I've been glad to build it when I can. I Right now we're going through some stuff with like fires going on in the area, and that's been a problem. So we've been kind of, you know, it's things have been different, when you're going through stuff like that. But at the same time, I've had a heart condition, so I wanted to build this and finish this, but it's been a slow build, but it's been a fun build, and I've enjoyed it even with slow because I do it when I can. I do it when I can, when I or I, and I don't have either appointments or stuff like that. I do this when I can, and I enjoy it when I can't. When I do it, I enjoyed it today. It's fun, um, and so yeah, we're still opening the bag. I know that's what we're doing. Uh, like I said, I'm doing this after the fact, so I'll see how well this turns out. I think this will turn out better than the audio. Now we're pulling this part down. Now this is in sections, so this is cool. So this is this section. The roof is its own section. It's the bigger section of the two, and then this is the spire. I call it the spire, but really it's like the town, probably church steeple or bell tower, whatever you want, a tower, church tower. That's why I ended up calling it eventually, because I like calling it steeple for some reason. But there you go. There's the church. It's the church tower. I probably will move the camera down. I know I do. But if you look there while you're seeing it, you'll see that it is in a section. There's the roof section, and that was an interesting section to build, and it had its own, But actually, once you got to build it, it's actually, in my opinion, I felt like it was fairly easy. I forget what episode which one that was. That was probably number 5, if I'm not mistaken, or it would be no, because this is number 8, so it may be number 6 actually. But if you want to watch that video, that's what I have to say with regards to what is going on with that. But this is, yeah, we pulled this down. It's section. So what I'm trying to say about the sections, if you're seeing it now, I'm probably pointing out the fact that we got to finish the other stained glass section because it stopped. Each bag I build by each bag, so this would be bag 8, which is part 8, and they're like an hour each when I do it. So it's like an hour so far. It's been. I think one has been slightly better in some ways, but they're all like pretty much over an hour, as far as I have seen. They're like all the videos I've done are over an hour to do these videos, which is it's still, like I said, it's still been fun for me to do. Build it raw, build it just the way I can, and there you go. I put this piece together. So let's look at these pieces. It's a weird triangle, or like half a square or something like that. Yeah, angled piece, and then you put a flat piece on top, and then now we put in another piece. It's like it's a piece that fits over, so you can add. They build these things up so you can add stuff to it. I want to call it. What am I call it? It's a piece that you can stick other pieces on, but we had to stick it to this wall. You can see it right now, and then my camera focused better. And then you put like a little square piece in there, and there you go. Yeah, sometimes I had to put the camera up. That's why because the camera kept focusing weird. That's it. I love that I can do these videos, and I love that at least I have a camera. But I feel like sometimes this camera, it's just not doing what it can be doing, and so that's why I'm a little saddened by it, because sometimes it does really well. Like there's videos I have that can do very well. I plug in the audio. I need to probably just make sure, wiggle it around a bit. I don't know. It has done pretty okay up to this point. I think I've had a little issue sometimes with the start, and then I just kind of, but you could at least hear it. This time you could barely hear me, so opted for doing this narration thing. Again, I apologize for that because I described what I was doing as I was doing it. And you can see me pointing out stuff. Again, like I said, there's these weird pieces. Some pieces like you stack on top of the wall like that. The other pieces you can, you put them on the wall and they point down. So that's and then, but this is how you build this. You build. I'm building this. This is part of that tower. I build. I put you put there's little pieces that make a big piece, right? And it kind of makes the wall. And then because you're putting pieces sideways to make you're making the stained glass. You're not like Lego and other companies have done this where with windows you can actually add windows like but when you have to build in this whole build we've built the glass out of these pieces and the way to make it you have to use you have to build these weird walls or build these weird ways so that the light that makes it look sort of like a window. Like when you look at it, your eyes will trick you, I guess, in a way, and say, "Oh, that's a window," not realizing that the pieces had to be built to make it look like a window, not like your normal Lego windows where you could buy a building and they have glass and you just pop it in to place, or like your doors pop into place now. I have doors that you didn't have to pop into place. Even like those doors are built, those ones you couldn't pop into place. You have to build them, then you pop them into the wall, to make them the big door, because unless Lego starts making bigger doors, sometimes they do have like fence. I do have some fence doors are larger, but they don't make bigger church-like doors, or like sometimes they'll make bigger castle doors. They used to anyway, but they did, So you have to do different techniques and see that this is one of those techniques where you're building your stained glass. The only problem I had with building the stained glass, as you're seeing, is the coloring. So, and I talk about that. I mentioned that. I said, hey, they need to put a color chart because sometimes the blues and the purples seem to blend. Like where a blue should be, you think it's purple, and where a purple should be, you think it should be a blue. And so there's that some coloration like that. Yellow is understandable a little bit. Red is um, but I wish they would, even for people who are colorblind, or not even for normal people, they would put like a color chart and do something. And that's why I do describe while building this, where they put put R for like R for the red piece, O for orange, obviously P for purple, PR, it'd be PR for purple, P for pink because they also had some pink. So like they should do some color coordination with how this is built. But yeah, as you see you see that I am putting together these glass windows, and they come and and it's hard to describe the color because I don't even know if I had the color right. So like I'd put something like orange would be with purple or something, so that it makes a weird, cool stained glass effect that like like what you see in a church where the colors are obviously stained glass. So the colors they're trying where you put colors in each pane is a color, right? So that's what they're trying to do here, and so I that's why I'm talking about with the way of building this, and in yeah that yeah anyway you get the hopefully you get the point. Why I'm talking about doing and how you're putting this together, and so like it's a flat piece, and like kind of like what you see. I don't know if you've built police vehicles, but sometimes on the roof of the police vehicles they'll have like a flat piece as part of the siren, and it's just a flat clear piece that was blue or red. Well, that's what you're doing here too. You're putting in like a flat piece on top of a clear piece that, or a colored piece that's supposed to be clear colored anyway, that has like studs. So you have and then the flat pieces, when you put them together on the tower, when as you can see on the other sort of tower that's sort of finished with that glass piece that I'm building on. I'm not. I'm building for the other side, but to finish up the other side. But as you can see, they fit together. The flat pieces sit together, and so that's you don't want studs there, obviously. But you'll see that I have, and it's like a technique. You build it, and then you put you're building a window basically. Excuse me for that, but that's basically what you're doing. And so you can see what I'm doing here. And so again, I'm gonna try to describe as I see it a little bit. I'm I'm trying to build and improve and do the best I can. I may I may have to think about what the future is for me doing these, so I could do it slightly better. Whether it's looking at a better camera, or while I'm putting this, see, you can see I'm putting the glass there. And I think on this one, am I putting blue? I'm putting blue and pink, I think, on this one. And that's why I said I had to look and you can see a little bit of the edges of the book there, corner of the book there. I had to look, and sometimes I'm sitting there and I look ahead a little bit. Then I try to look back and go, okay, well, I'll do it this way, but we'll see how it works out. So if you see any interesting errors, I will say this: when you build this church with this stained glass, I think some people are probably going to get spot on, and Real Brick will probably say you did it right. I don't think I did that. I think my church is going to be a little unique, and I think depending on how you understand the coloring and how you interpret it, yours may be either the way they want it or the way it's your own way. But I will say this: at least it all works out somewhat. So if you ever go look at my glass and go, well, "That's weird," it probably is. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the steps. I enjoy uh, doing this and building this. But yeah, so I don't know. I hope in the future sometime, figure this out for like when it comes to these cameras and when it comes to doing this differently. It would be nice, um, so that we don't have to keep doing this. But we'll see. Maybe the next time it will improve. Maybe I just need to do some more tests before I get doing this. But hey, doing a voiceover for this, I'm actually not a. It's hey, it's what it is. At least I'm doing something. At least I'm making a video, having fun. Again, okay. So I'm trying to describe what I'm seeing. So again, this is it's better probably when as I do the video. But again, you see, I pick up another piece. I'm showing you the triangle piece. I call it triangle piece. I may be wrong, but there you go. And it's not a full square block like because Lego has a full square, and then they have these triangle pieces, which are like corner pieces. Let's call them corner pieces. So corner pieces. There's flat corner piece that's going to end up on here. I'm probably looking for it. It's the sad thing with small pieces in Lego is sometimes you sit there hunting, and then you finally find it, and then you kind of wonder what is going on, right? So yeah, so I'm building another one of these wall things. I'm building another one of these wall deals, and so that's what you're seeing here right now. Again, to do the other side. So this is you're building this tower, and it looks good it's going to look good at the end. It does. Like right now, it looks kind of like you look at it, you're like, I don't know what this is going to become, but you'll see me as I build it. It'll all kind of come together. They just have weird techniques to build these walls, and then once you get it together, you'll see how it works out. But for now, we're just finding pieces, adding, pieces like that, connection pieces like that, so we can connect the windows in a weird way. Like I'm pointing that out. I'm pointing the studs out there. These are weird flat pieces. That one's facing up, and then the other ones are facing down towards the wall. So yeah, they have some, they have some interesting pieces to make this work, and that's the whole thing. Um, and so it's just, yeah, it's an interesting, again, it's an interesting way of building things. I like that there are creative ways of using techniques to do this type of stuff to build. Again, I'm adding another little square piece. There's a lot of little pieces, but once you build these little pieces up, which I'm doing, to make the ultimate goal of for the tower. And it's not just like popping a window. Could it be cool to pop in a window? I probably in the future be, maybe someone will create a church where the windows are easier. You just kind of slide in smaller windows, and they already look like stained glass, and you just pop in. But sometimes like this, even though the coloring is weird, it is kind of cool in a way to build the windows. So, and that's what you see with some of these buildings, some of these expert buildings. This is an expert building. Is they're using techniques, they're using bricks, they're kind of building things popping things together. Now in this church there are a few, I think, actual. I think there's like one, maybe. No, I think there's like at least one, maybe a couple actual windows pieces that are like window. Yeah, that are considered window pieces. But all this, like this whole stained glass system, has all been built all along. You can watch all my videos from start to finish in these, and this is how they, not, they build it. They use techniques to make that the stained glass of what it is. And so it is a kind of a cool process. It's just the coloring may not be exactly what they intended. So it may be my own interpretation of it based on what I see and what I feel like I'm able to do. Because I think I spent most of the time on this trying to figure this out. And because I like to build things the best I can to exactly what instructions say. But there comes a point where you just kind of have to go, okay, I'm either going to take several years to do this, or I'm just going to do this and just do it here and now. And so I think as I went on, I just sort of put it together, and it looked like it sort of made sense. But again, I don't think it may have made total sense. But it's still the fun process. This is my first time building this type of a building, what I consider expert building. I've built while we're doing this, because I know I'm hunting for pieces. I know I built creator houses in the past, so that was my first introduction to full size building, where you could where you take off the roof, because most of the buildings you built were half, like you just see the front. The facade was it was like a fake facade. In the back you could play in the back, and you didn't, everything was solid. There was no like you pull this roof off, and that's what I like about Lego buildings, full buildings, where you still could play. It's still playable. You just the way they could make it, you just pull off each section or pull off the roof. And so I like that. And so I got my first house was like, I think the apple tree house or one of them. I know and then I bought, and then we got, I know my mother bought one of them, and then out of the blue, and I was like shocked, because I didn't even know they were making those type of houses. And then I got like I wish they'd bring them back. And then I got some tan house. I forget what it was actually called, that had sliding glass door. And so that was my two houses. I actually had the third one, which was more like a cabin. It was the same idea. You could take the roof off, go inside, but obviously it was really small. So it was a really small cabin. I never had it in my Lego City directly where I had it, I think, floating around. I think I planned on putting it in, but I just didn't have it in for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I was trying stuff or trying to figure out where to put it. Just like my airport, I had an airport, but you could, but at least there are some of my videos you could actually see the airport is sitting on a shelf, right? So there are a lot of things like that. So why did I bring this up while I'm doing this? Well, this is the first time, and I've wanted to do something that I've really had. Even with those houses, they weren't that hard. They weren't really what I would consider expert. This to me is expert. They'd be probably mid-range on some of those houses, but this would be like expert. The techniques used and all that. And those houses were even cool. Those were cool. Those were the coolest buildings I had back in the day. With those two, actually three houses, but two houses were really cool in my opinion. That were large houses for Lego that were full houses, full builds, not half a house. And that's why I love full builds. I do that even in my Lego City. That's why my Lego City is one big tower, because I did that same idea where each floor can come separate from another floor, and it's not going to destroy the next floor. It just kind of pops off, and that's what they do here. And so, but this is my first time having an amazing building, in my opinion, like this, especially one that truly lights up, that actually, has some serious lighting. I do have in my airport on the roof, I basically like my heliport, I guess you want to call it, but there is like a little light brick in there. It came with one of the airports I bought, so I could kind of put my airport that I do have together. But that's about it. It's just a weird light brick. That happens to light up, has a small battery in it. You just kind of turn on, but that's not, in my opinion, that's not like truly lighting a building like this building has been lit, where you have light strips and you have connections, and that this whole building has that. So, and you can see on the first section of that, while I'm probably hunting around for more glass and stuff to match the color, or to try to put the colors best I can. together, where that it applies with that round brick in the middle, and where you're lighting them up, and we'll light this other side up. That's what we'll do. We'll see. And look, I'm putting, this is the technique I'm talking about. I'm putting like a tan color with like a light brown color with some dark brown color. That, so like these type of pieces that make it kind of like pop a bit. I know people do that in Minecraft. I did mention that. I play Minecraft, and I've seen where you build like a castle, and even a stone castle is pretty cool, even for a brick stone castle. But sometimes people like to, and sometimes I can see the point of it, and sometimes I'm looking at like, I don't know if I like it, but they like to make it pop, so they'll put like different types of stone to make it look like an older building, or to make it look not as to make it look more like they use different stones, or maybe, yeah. And that's what they did this church too, is they used, like you see building techniques, like it's not perfect, it's still going to be cool, but it's not perfect, because a lot of these older buildings have, maybe at one time they did start out sort of perfect. I believe a lot of buildings did, but then over time, different situations happened, and so the building was, they may fix some things, but some things are, weathered, and they didn't fix everything, or, so you kind of see the, different colorations of, and partly passage of time, partly whoever fixed it may have only fixed portions of the church, so, and you see that even in real life, and even today they do and try to do fix jobs, and fix these old buildings up. So it's kind of cool. It's one of those, I would say it's a cool building to add to your town. I personally like the building, nothing because it was sent to me, and it just showed up, nothing with it, just the building itself, and I've obviously, I love building it. It was awesome to put this together, and that's the joy of this. That's why I love making these videos. It's just, it's having fun. It's building it, even, and learning. Like, that's the other thing I like about it. Don't be afraid to try to learn something like this. I mean, I made mistakes, and I had to fix my own mistakes here and there, but it was fun. That's what's been this whole time for me. It's making these videos fun, putting them out there for you guys, hoping you guys will enjoy them. Sorry about the audio again. I can't say sorry enough. Sorry about it. I would have loved the original audio from the video, because I know I did a little more talking about probably certain things, and as I was putting and finding Lego. All I could say is that it's been a great journey build. We still have a little bit more to go. But it's been a great journey along the way as I'm hunting. Obviously, I know I'm hunting for more pieces, but that's the other thing. It's cool. This bag, actually, there wasn't that many pieces compared to the other bags. When I built like full wall sections, there was more pieces, and the walls, like with these sections, as you notice, I'm building like these windows and stuff. The walls weren't just put these bricks here, and here you go. Like even my Christmas stores that you sort of have maybe seen, I point out earlier, those had, like, the only technique they had was, like a few bricks, so to make it look sort of older, but it wasn't as, and that was still fun. Those are still fun to build, but it wasn't as technique as this, where you're putting more to it. You can see right there, right, the church. There's some extra like flat pieces that are sticking out from the church itself, because that's the technique they're using to make it show its age, and just some things stick out, and it's not a perfect building, but it's still a cool church, right? It's still a beautiful old building. That's why I was trying to say, recommend. My whole goal is, if I ever, I did say that in this video, my whole goal is, yes, I want to finish this church, and I've enjoyed it, but I would love to add more buildings in town. I wish I had built, and I wish I had done it, but everybody looks back, and you can think about, I wish I knew, because I guess the modulars came out, and I didn't know a lot about them when they came out, and I learned about them after the fact that a lot of them came out. I wish I would have had at least one of each of those modulars, because that would have been a cool town build. It would have been very awesome to know about, these modular builds more. I think I may have known about, I swore I know about a few of them when they first sort of started, but I just never looked on them. And so some of the buildings I see now, what people use, I'm like, well, they made that. So I sort of caught up. So, but hey, you know what? You got to start somewhere. It's sad. I rebuilt the city. I wish I would have had my house, at least my houses, the apple tree house Don't have that anymore. Don't even have the don't even have the other house either. Those are the two amazing Lego houses I loved. That were the creator sets Lego houses. I wish they'd come back with some of them. If I ever could, I'd probably buy one or two. I'd like to get that's again. I'd like that's why I'm saying I'd love to build back up stuff, and I sort of am slowly over time. I'd like to get hold of some fire trucks, more fire trucks, because I actually had a decent fire department. If you look at my video, I actually had a decent. I sort of have built some of it back, but I really would like to get. As there's some cooler stuff now compared to what when I was buying just Lego. There's some off-brand. That's why I like the off-brand, because they have some really cool Lego trucks and Lego fire trucks especially, and some of the off-brand. Um, but it's just like this church. This church is off-brand. Lego. That's one thing I wish Lego would do. When they did the modular builds is they would do their own church too. They did others. They've done other stuff. Do a church, maybe hospital. Maybe even a school or something. I know Lego did sort of a school, but it seemed to be kind of not very many people seem to know about it. There are a few people who have it in their city, and one person I think even adapted it and put two of the schools together, something made a bigger school and made it a modular school build. And then it came with like a small bus or something. And that was pretty cool. I didn't even know until I saw someone do it. So I think I'll try to fix the light thing here. One of the sticky things, that's the only disadvantage to some of these sticky things, is it could probably peel a little bit. So far, related to it actually being attached to the building itself, except for maybe that one with the round part. The building itself, the strips seem to be okay so far. And I tested the lighting in the other building. This one, I will not test the lighting. I even say that for now because I have to plug it in, and it's hard to keep. It's hard to unplug them, because when they give you the strips, they give you them plugged into just to keep everything together. But I had to unplug it all, and it was hard because you have fat fingers or something. It's hard to sort of unplug them. So I will say that. But you just take your time. Don't get upset about it. Just take your time, and then just sort of. And that's you just take your time, slowly unplug it, and then you can kind of do it. And you can see right now I'm spinning this. It's in a spiral, and so that's just how they did it. But it's cool because when it lights up, it'll just light up everything. There's obviously a purpose in it. So you spiral around these three pieces you put together, and then you put it in the center, and it's going to be your light. This is how your tower's going to be lit for this, and it's mostly probably going to be on the bomb section. I want to see how far eventually, once I finish the tower, once I actually finish it, how far it will actually go, how far the light will actually light up the tower. So if we'll go all the way, or we'll just light up mostly the bottom section. It'll still be a cool section, but will it go further, or will it just light up? It may go a little further. So we'll see. We'll see once we get the lighting up. But there you go. I'm putting in the final strip for this section to be light. This is over with. There's no more lights. There's no more wires to worry about after this. I mean, the only thing is plugging the wire in at the end once I finish the actual tower, the actual bell towers, or I would say they're bell towers for the church towers, bell towers, and once they're actually finished. But the thing I'm talking about with these buildings, like you can see, I string the wires through there's a center hole. I strung both of them through. They had a whole brick. There's only one hole they actually go through. I thought that you could go through, because they have like 3 holes on that brick, I think. But they're both too close to an actual brick, and so there's only one in the middle where you actually string them through. So you just, like, when you build it, you'll see it. You'll string the first one in, and then you'll string the next one in, and then it allows you to be inside the building, and you can plug them in. You can see that I strung them in. You can probably see the wire kind of sticking out underneath. But I won't plug the wire in because I have to pull this off, and I think one of the wires is a little too short, which I'm okay with. And eventually, once I go to put it in, that's the only disadvantage probably of this. But once I go to put the top back on, all I have to do is plug in the wires to the spots, and there'll be room. Actually, there's room. They could have added, if they really wanted to. I don't know if that was they ever would have done it. They really could have actually technically added more. They could have actually technically added more lights if they wanted to. I think they could have maybe more in the spiral. But we'll see how it looks when it's done. Um, so far, I've lit up the built part. I've lit up, put lights to see how it works. I think I'm impressed. That's pretty cool. Um, like I said, I'm excited. This is my first actual building that I'm building, like especially like this, where there's a light that's used like this, and that's I enjoy it. I really have enjoyed this, putting this together, and I think it's going to be fun for my Lego city, and it's going to add. And like I said, I hope in the future I can build like a Lego town slash city that will have more to it. That will have, like besides, obviously I already have a church, so I do have some stores for my Lego city that's on this base plate. If I could extend it, have even a table or so where I could just kind of grow, like add a town hall, add stuff that you would see in an actual town as well. And that's why I said I missed the modulars from that build. But some of the alternative Lego, like this church, I think are filling in some of that void. And I hope in the future I could see, or maybe even get some of those and see if I could add some to this town. This company does produce quite a bit. I feels like I think I was. You can buy it. You could buy them on Amazon. You could probably look them up directly, and they'll probably have more. But I know on Amazon they do have quite a bit on Amazon for stuff like this church, and that's what makes it kind of exciting. And I was glad for this little opportunity to be able to put this together. Like I said, there's nothing. The church just arrived. There's nothing with it. This building, so I don't know if they sent it to me or if someone else may have sent it to me. Who knows? But I was pretty excited either way to be able to build this, and my channel's small, so I'm not big enough for anyone to really notice me, and so that's why I was pretty excited about the ability to build this church and the ability to enjoy it and have fun. So yeah, um, that's why I want to make this video better. I mean, the audio especially, I wanted to make it better again. It's sad that I could have used the audio from the video. I wouldn't feel right about it. And so I've done narration before. It's just been a bit. I do it for some food reviews and stuff, but for certain things that places are loud and noisy, and I just I do my thoughts of what I had eaten and stuff like that, and tell you if I like it or not. So I figured, hey, done it before there. It's so fresh in my mind here. I'm gonna the build. I'm just doing this right after the build. I might as well just do the best I can. Record this, at least give it a shot. Hopefully it won't happen again. Hopefully the audio will work. The other videos, the audio seemed at least okay. Like there'd be a little bit of weird, but not enough to warrant. This time it's just I don't know what's wrong. So this time it was not a good situation. But anyway, here you are. We finished. It was kind of weird how they built it because like now you can see it looks good now. It's the stained glass is in. That was hard, finishing, so it doesn't really look like a tower yet, except for the fact that you notice it's kind of there's two sort of semicircles, if you want to call them that. But as you see, I'm probably getting some pieces to try to put more together, and to continue building this. The other pieces were kind of fun to build. This was a smaller bag this time. This wasn't the big bag that I had, that I've had with some of these builds. Like and not only that, there was technique still, but the technique I think is getting for where the towers are getting a little bit more, not as many full of pieces. Like I know some of the bags I had a lot of pieces, and I'd build, and I know I'd get close to being finished because I'd build down but you'd see there was a lot in, like you could see there's already a lot into this church, and so but after this church is built, I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna be like, hey, there's videos showing I built this. That's the difference with this Lego city. I built another Lego city on iHome Entertainment. And so, but I didn't actually show at the time. YouTube wasn't there yet, I don't think, totally. But I did not show me actually building these buildings. I had some of them built already, or most of them I'd build, and then I'd just show it as a Lego City update, which that was popular. And I did some animation. That's all I did on that channel was some animation and early on animation, which I did. I did early on in the 2010, and then I did Lego City updates and stuff like that. but it all fell apart. I had to move. Things happened in my life. It all kind of just that city fell apart, and it was. And now all of a sudden I got back into Lego because I love Lego. I've always loved Lego, but all of a sudden I started seeing these Lego cities and seeing things that I've missed. I missed out on. Like I think some of the things they're doing is awesome. Alternative, like there wasn't this many brands of. There's mainly Lego Mega Block. I remember. And when now I've come back into it, you have this Real Brick. You have other companies making stuff like this or selling for other companies that make stuff, so it's just so there's a lot more out there than in some ways than there used to be. And so it's really nice, especially buildings. You'll be amazed how many buildings, and this is one of them. There's actually, I think, another group that does something like this. Theirs is a same concept, different interpretation of it. So then there's even some other churches that are actually pretty priced. This one is expensive, but I still think it's awesome. There are other churches out there, like I think there was one that was like 45, $50. I mean, you could get, and it's pretty decent for a little church. Even if you just want something like that for your town, I always encourage to add some religious building like that, church, even maybe a mosque if that's what you want for your town. But here in North America, a lot of places have churches and stuff like that more so than like mosques and stuff. You probably put one in there. Some places that do have it, but this is what is all over. And of course, this church though I think is more European. So especially European places have a lot of these old Catholic churches. But for my town, it'll work too because I in North America too. We build some of our old churches look exactly like some of the European churches. So I mean, so it is kind of cool and funny at the same time. But here you are. This is oh, I had struggle putting these weird pyramid pieces on. For some reason I just struggled putting them on. It could have been my hands. I mean, so but yeah, I just struggled. And then once I got them on and built, it was off to the races, and I built a bunch. I think I built 8 of these little decorative. You can see me just trying to put some pieces on there. Again, I'm just recording this after the fact because of my audio didn't turn out well for the video. So hopefully I'm describing it better. But yeah, there's these weird brown pyramid pieces, and you can see the different colorations. Like there's a brown, tan, and like a light brown. So there's like, yeah, dark brown I think was for those, light brownish, and then there's like a tan or like almost like a sand brown or something on some of it. So yeah, you could interpret it what you want, but I know there's definitely tan, dark brown, and then some like sand brown or like maybe some brick color if you want to call it that. So yeah, so you could probably interpret it the way, but different types of colors to make up what they're doing, and it's kind of a cool building technique where it's kind of like a contrast thing because you could use all brown, but then you would see it, you'd be like, okay, but we're using these different colors. It feels like with this type of a building, which I do appreciate. Um, some of with the architecture of this Lego church is the different color techniques. Like even with the church, just if you look in the background there, to use an example, is they have like tan, they have like white. I think they have like that brown I'm talking about. That's almost like a brick brown, if you want to call it. Not quite red, but you know, yeah, it's not quite red. Wouldn't call it red, but it's almost like a brownish, orangish, brown orange or something. It's kind of a weird off color, not totally like brown, not totally brown either, but not totally like a brick, orange brick or something. More like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and you could tell, you could say in the comments, hey, this is the color, this is what I say the color is, and that you'd probably be right, but but that's the idea, is that it's different. What's cool with this type of building, this is why I love this building so much compared to all my other buildings. Even though I'm glad for what I've done in my Lego city, I've done a lot. I've even the interiors of those buildings, except for like tiling the floor. That's why I like it. This one came with tile. The floor is completely tiled, so it's a flat floor. But I don't have that in my Lego city yet. I would like to tile up my buildings. I have it set up so I can do that, but I just haven't. I just don't have the money. I need to buy some stuff maybe in the future to tile up buildings I do have that I have finished pretty much the inside of. But other than that, I like I said, I think this is one of so far, this is one of the best buildings I've ever had in any of my any of my Lego cities. The first one and even this one, compare but with the idea of the building technique and the use of the colors and the use of um, like how they make stone. Like if you see just in the front of the church, for instance, how the stone kind of there's you can see little pops or where the stone may have stuck out a little bit. Maybe someone tried to fix it, they didn't just fix it that right, or maybe, like I said, there's a lot of things that have happened to these type of buildings, war, you know, plague, thing. You know, you could name anything that happened in medieval ages. A lot of things happen, especially war. Just neglect, or maybe they just couldn't fix it, or ups and downs of the church, and maybe there were periods that they were restoring it, and then they just didn't really finish it, and it's kind of gone through a lot. In my Lego city, that's what I would say. It's just gone through a lot, and it's just an old building, but it's a beautiful old building with the techniques, and that's why I like as I describe this with the techniques of this. And you can see, like when I'm building this, you're building these pieces, like you're building, like this is a decorative piece, right? You're building this to add, so it will look cool. Like at first you look at it like, well, I will say this: some of the pieces, even this church, had me worried about where they were headed. Okay, and just don't be too worried. Look ahead a little bit, calm your fears, and then you can kind of put this and build and just kind of take a breath, and then just kind of keep building. And like I said, if anyone's building this, I don't matter. It doesn't matter. Any young person building this, any older person building this, it's a great experience, and it really is if you have an opportunity. Now, if you don't go out there and just blow your money just so you can build this, but at the same time, if you have an opportunity and you can add this to your Lego city, you're like, hey, I need a church. I'd give these. I would look this on Amazon, or look it up for the Reobix company, and that's Reobrix. I actually miss on the intro of here of the R. I miss the R on that one, but I just that's what it is. I left it that way. So, but yeah, it's from Real Brick, and look up at others. Don't there's so many. There's some cool buildings. Maybe Real Brick will get into in the future, putting in like a I've seen like theaters, even though like little theaters that people say, and it looks so cool. It looks like an old time actual theater, or for not like just a movie theater, which Lego has done that too. Lego's done a couple of movie theaters. They did one. They did a Cinemaplex one that was full building. It was awesome, and then they did a half one for everybody else. Everybody else who couldn't afford the big one. I would have loved the big one. Um, what I call the modular builds, which are awesome builds. I will say that because they're full buildings and they're just really detailed. But that's why I said that's why I love what other companies are taking on that and making detailed buildings like this. But they're doing things like churches, and this is, like I said, this has been an exciting build for me to build this church. And I'm saying this because this is repetitive. I built like 8 of these things, right? And so when it comes to the decoration, that's what I love about these modular builds, and I hope to get more in the future, or am able to build more in the future someday. Would be I just love the like they look like they're better than what I could build at times. I mean, I did okay, but they are better than what I could build. Like I said, this is going to be the best looking building in my Lego city for now. Not saying there could be another building, maybe another church that's bigger, or maybe just a house that could look really nice too. But for now, in my Lego city, I say this is the best building I've built. Um, and it's awesome to have these kits where you could just build a full building and have like the stones and the church feel like it has like carpet floor instead of just the old, So I don't have to do that with my Lego city again, is putting tile and stuff. But I love, again, this building has a lot of pieces, a lot of techniques, and it's been a build. Again, this has been like every bag I've done, even this one had less pieces, and I saw it had less pieces. It still took time to put these pieces together, because of the techniques and stuff, and that was fun. But it still took me, obviously, with the video, and I probably built a little slow too, so because I was trying to show some of it. But again, see repetitiveness. I'm building these things. I know I built 8 of them, so I don't know when the repetitiveness ends. But I built 8 of these things, so yeah. And they each go 4. You'll see it; they'll go 4 in the corner. But we'll wait till I build this and get to that section. But I'm impressed. I've been impressed with this. Like I said, but this is my first actual having a hands on a building like this that lights up, and I'm able to build it like those modulars. So to me, I'm excited. I was able to get this church. I just wish, I wish I could have done better, and been able to maybe to make this Lego channel sooner, and to be able to build these type of buildings and have a beautiful Lego city like some other people I know who do. There's a lot of creativeness in the Lego community. I am impressed. I'm glad for those who are able to create and build and just have fun with it. Not, I made a mistake here. I'll fix my mistake. You can see, I put it on there and then I was like, oh wait a minute, and then I realized I had to. So I backed up. It was a small mistake, but I had to back it up, and I ended up correcting it. You'll see. I put them together thinking I was, and then I looked down and went, oh, and then I decided I went and fixed it. So at first, this is what it looks like, and then I went, oh, and then I had to add an extra white piece on 4 of them because there's a side that is it needs it, and I had to put 2 of the pieces back a stud, so it went underneath, and so the clear piece sat on top of this the tan studs that are poking out right now. So I'll probably show it. I hope I do, but see, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm like, oh, I had to, yeah, see, look, I had to take, yep, see, I had to take it off and move it back. Take it off and move it back on those. But the other ones I couldn't take off and just move it back. I had to find a white piece. So I just did it to the other one. You may not see it, but I did the same thing to the other one, just moved it back. I try showing it the best I can. And see, there, I had the white piece on there, so I could put that on the clear spot that I need that. Because one of the clear spots, you just move the piece back because there's how they overlap. And then on this section, the clear piece is slightly bigger. So I just, yeah, see, I pulled the 2 off that. Yeah, I pulled those 2 off, and then the other 2, I just moved back. And I put a white 4 piece on top of the 2 that I had to, yeah, so I could put them underneath. Just underneath. And there you go. See, look, I put them underneath. And there, pop them on. See, but look at that, it's a decorative. And then with those pieces, you put more like a gold leaf flower thing on there. I would say gold leaf. Of course, churches spend a lot of money on decorating their, especially Catholic churches, put a lot of gold in their churches. So yeah, see, like you can see, I'm putting this like gold leaf plant, like, but it's gold, so it's more like probably a gold leaf type situation on there. And there you go. Look at that gold leaf all the way around, all four of them. So that's what I'm talking about. It's cool to see these building techniques. It's cool to see because by the end of it, people probably won't know all the little pieces that went into this, except for those who are obviously watching this video or those who built it themselves. That's why I say, don't just watch this video. Go and build this yourself. Lego is about fun. That's why I said I love it when there's people who are fun in a community. Because like I say, gaming and Lego are one of the 2 things that should be fun. They're just meant to be fun. They're not meant to be miserable. You're just meant to build, enjoy it, and have fun. And look at the joy of just putting these together and experience. Make mistakes, but then you can learn from them. That's how we all learn. We make mistakes, we learn, we correct them, we keep moving forward, right? So we build it, and then eventually gets to our goal. And this church it'll be amazing to look back on all the fun I had, the fun building this, the fun putting this together. And watch, I'm clamping on these pieces now. And sometimes I will say this: make sure your pieces go around, tap them in. Sometimes they are a little difficult, but it's still been a good build. You just got to be a little. Sometimes you got to be a little aggressive with it, and don't beat it up, but just try to make sure the pieces are all fit in there. And there you go. Like there it is. There's a clear spot, and I wonder if the light will go through more of the clear spot. That's probably why they have it. There's a clear, like, look, you can tell it's a clear roof. Maybe the light will shoot a little bit more through there, so it looks like it's sort of lit up at the top. But I don't know how well it will be lit up at the top. But even without that, I'm still impressed. This is my first building to be lit up. I know there's others out there that are very well lit up. You can buy them. But for me, this is amazing to have a first building like this. Never had. before that lit up. And like I said, the lights are all finished, so now it's just finishing the rest, and eventually I'll connect the last lights and hopefully show a full picture of the church being lit up. But here you go. Um, again, we're building now. This is not for window. This is for like kind of make it look like there's smooth corners on the church. So we're putting in these. You could tell they're like wedge pieces. I call them cheese wedges because some of them were like cheese wedges, and they use them that way. That you could buy yellow cheese wedges, alternative Lego that will sell you, and they look exactly like this, but they're meant for like cheese. So people keep calling them. I call them cheese wedges. And then there's the bigger version. See. To those cheese wedges, but they help you angle. They help you make it look like there's an angle to it, right? That's the whole point, to make it look like it's maybe sort of roundish, even though it's not totally roundish. It's just like again more building techniques. Yeah, I found in this build this whole time, even though some of it was complicated, like I said, but it was still fun. It was still fun to figure out. Would I do a building like this again? Yes, I would. I totally would. It was worth it. It just takes time. That's the thing. It just takes, like, this building is taking time, and by the end of this, it will be several hours. This is the biggest build I have done like this, where I've had to break it up in parts. I've done that with a few buildings, like even the 2 airports I built on this channel, and the fire station where I built the fire trucks, fire vehicles first on one video, and then I built the fire station. This has been several parts, and this has just been like a beautiful and a very great experience to build something like this, and that took this many parts to build. And it's actually not really a super huge building necessarily. Like, it's on basically a 32 by 32 base plate. Oh, weird. 32, you may want to extend that out a little bit. So buy a 32, extend it out on one side. I forget if it's the back side that extends out a little bit. I think it's the back side that extends out a little bit because it's a weird shape. You extend it out a little bit, and you'd be fine, right? So you can place this. This is like a medieval church. I place this in my town in my modern town, because medieval churches do exist. But if you did this for even for your medieval castle or something, this would work, because it's all about that medieval. Like, it does have torches on the building and stuff, so you could add this, and people have added this. I've seen those who have built this have added. Some of them have added this into their medieval village and stuff. I think there's one guy in particular. I can't think of his name, but there's a guy I know he's added this to his medieval village. I think there's a few though that have it. But I'm adding this to my modern town as one of the old buildings. There, old churches there. It's probably been there for a bit. So, but this whole rebuild, I've never experienced. It would expect to be building something like this and be building these techniques with the like cheese wedges, or like even what I'm doing here now as you're looking at this, building these weird cool techniques and using different blocks to this detailed, right? So even the houses I originally built weren't this detailed. They were beautiful houses, like the apple tree house and stuff it was a nice house. I love that house, but this has been one of the, since I've started rebuilding my Lego city, this has been one of the best builds I've been impressed with. I mean, I'll be impressed with more as it goes on, but I love, as I looked up these type of buildings that are sold and stuff like this, I've just been more impressed that Lego's come a long way since some of the old videos I've seen where people just used what was there, fire station. Now there was still one guy I was looking at, even though he did do that, he did tend to try to build full builds and stuff. So most of his were either adapted, and adapted what's already there. I've done that in the past, but it's cool now to see how many Lego cities have built up from some of the early videos I see on YouTube with Lego cities, how they've grown to be like crazy, just crazy builds, crazy looks, just like you look at it's awesome. Like even skyscrapers and stuff, like this whole thing is awesome, and it's been a very impressive way of doing these builds, and it's just I'm excited. I really am excited to build this. And so anyway, like you can see, I'm popping in some of this. I did screw up on not this part. I think the first part I did really well. They would do like ×2, and sometimes it's kind of weird with Lego builds. Sometimes those 4, when I did the early decorations, they had me build all those 8 at once. Sometimes Lego does this, and alternative companies will have you build one section, and then they'll do it again the other section. So it's kind of weird how they build these. Like this is what I'll use example. Like they have me build this for these two sides, and then I have to flip the page and build, for the other sides or something like that. So it was kind of interesting how they sometimes, even though you're duplicating a lot of pieces. Now some of the duplication I understand is a little different, so it's not totally the same, but some of it was a little bit the same. So it's kind of funny to see, like, here build two here, but build the same two later on. So some of it's kind of funny, but other than that, I still, like I said, it's been a joy to build, and it's coming to an end. It's gonna be it's awesome, but it's gonna be a little sad at the same time because I enjoyed this. But it's going to be awesome church to see for a long time. Hopefully, it stays for a very, very long time. Hopefully, I can add more buildings that will help build more to my city and just add more cool, make it a cool town, cool Lego city. Hopefully, I can. My future plans for this church is hopefully to make some small animation videos, and I've done that. I want to get back into it, but there are builds I need to complete. Like, now this church is one of them. Obviously, it's a big build. I need to complete it and move it into its spot, and then I can kind of hopefully do more with either that or do more with builds and do some small animation that I do want to do. So yeah, this church is actually holding up quite a bit, but it's fine. That's I knew that was going to happen. So I was glad I'm able to build and do all this. It was worth it. It's worth the building. I'm so glad that I was able to get a hold of this. It happened in March, so um, towards my time of my birthday, but it happened in March. I was able to get this build, and it was exciting to have it and to be able to build this. It was it's a fun adventure, and it adds a church to my town. Okay, so there you go. Adds a church to my small town, small Lego city. It's all on one base plate. I know someone else has done it. Nick Jago City used to do, like, they do like 32 by 32, or small base plate, basically, and you do a lot within that area, and you can connect them. I think you connect a few of what they did. Some people have everything, and they connect them. It looked like a little small, like Japanese or Asian city or whatever. So Asian town, Asian city. It looked, but it had a lot going on, right? A lot of features for in a small area, and I like that. So, but I also room. I can understand why they did it. Not everybody has room. I don't have the room. If I did, not everybody has full basements where they could put massive buildings, and like, it would be awesome. I mean, and maybe someday I'll have a bigger space for more buildings and stuff. But I do enjoy this. This was, I would do it again. I mean, if I got sent something else like this again in the future, oh yeah, I totally would. It would be great to add on my city, even if I bought something. Whether I got sent something, whether I was able to finally get a hold of something that would actually, it would be awesome. I would love to do this again in the future. It'd be, it'd be worth it. It would be all worth it for me to do something like this again. Um, and I'm still not done. This is only 8 videos. There's actually at least a couple more videos to do of this to finish it, to build it. We're not finished with the spire that are with the bell towers. So I'll try to call them bell towers or church towers. We're not finished with it yet. Obviously, we're getting close though. If we finish this other piece, this is great. There's not much left of this, so I'm trying to find pieces. I do make some mistakes here. That's coming up, but I fix them, and so I think I showed already. So I fix it. Because it's different on the back side than on the front. I think there's a flat piece. I think I showed it, because the first two were all just basically wedges, and then the one of on the bottom back, for some reason, on one of them there's like a white flat piece, and then the rest is wedges. So I don't know if that's just where you can put your hand in there so they could turn on the lights or something, because there is a light turning on that's hidden in the church where you don't see it right away, so you can turn on the lights and it lights up. But so I don't know if it's for that reason, but that it's there, so I put it there. And of course, we're getting to the end. We're getting to the end of this. We're just putting on, yeah, we're just putting on. We're trying to put this together. Let's see if I make a mistake. I probably do here. I think I did fix that other one, and then I did it differently here. So yeah, and then that's the thing, is it's And even if you pay attention, you still it may look like what they, and then you look at it and you're like, well, sort of, and you switch it a bit and you're like, okay, maybe, so you got to play around with it. Don't be afraid to just kind of look at it and just, again, take your time. um I would say build this over a few, take your time. If you build it on one day, great. Some people probably can and do, but don't be afraid to, even if you, whether you do a video or not do a video on it. I always encourage people, like, hey, do your own video, build it, have fun. But if you don't do it, just take your time. Even if you do a video afterwards, but just take your time. Maybe take an evening. That's how I used to do my builds before. Some of my speed champion cars, before I did videos now where I'm building these on camera, is I used to just take an evening, and while we were watching TV, me and my wife were watching TV, I take an evening. Maybe she wanted to watch something she wanted to watch. That's fine, and I take a part of that evening and sort of, and just take my time put together one of the cars. But on this one, it may take a little longer than putting together a speed champion car for Lego, or a vehicle like that. So this is going to take you much longer, but you just maybe take an evening and maybe look at the book. That's another thing. Maybe before you get really into the build of this 12 part instructions, look at at least the first part of it, see what's involved, and then you can kind of look ahead a bit and then kind of go, okay, now I get it, and then build, and then maybe continue that way. Maybe take your first couple nights, if that's what it takes, to read the book and kind of go through it, and just, so you can think about it, and then what's ahead, and then you can kind of just build. I've only done that a few times on here, just to kind of, out of curiosity, see, okay, what's going to be the next bag, what do I need to expect a little bit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's up to you on how you do that. But that could be a good way of, first, looking at it and then taking your time. Also, another recommendation: put it on a Mills plate. Start it out. So I say Mills plate because I think it would be solid, but put it on some type of Mills plate, and that's what I do, so that you can just build right on top of that, and then it'll be solid. Most people do it on Mills plates. Now, there are still people who build flat, which is fine. I understand why, but I used to build flat. But now, again, if I would do it differently, if like I'm doing now with my new Lego City, I'd put things on Mills plate because I feel it's more solid, and there's not, like, if your Lego City doesn't move ever, and it's maybe never moves, maybe it's okay on a flat piece. But there's also pros to having Mills plate, because you can do things that you can't do on a flat, even on a flat Lego base plate. Even though it's kind of awesome to still see how people built towns and stuff, because that's how we used to. We just built on the base plate. Well, the base plates are kind of weak, so it's nice that gives them stronger, and you can also do things like rivers and stuff like that. There's a bunch of people who do it. I've even done showing how to build this plate, but there's a lot of people who do better than I do, and so you can look up them, and they'll show you how to build roads and rivers and things like that, which are really awesome. So we'll see what the future of that is. But look at, like, oh, see, I put that piece in there. I think it looked pretty good, flat piece. Then I think I turn it around. Yeah, I know there's a weird section here on the front, and it's kind of like half of one. So, but it's still the idea of trying to give corners, smooth corners or round type corners to this build. So that's what you're seeing. It's like I'm rounding off the corners, but using this building technique, obviously. But again, besides making some mistakes, which always happens, I really did enjoy this build and the techniques that were involved in even doing this, like rounding off these corners to make it look more or less to trick your eye to say that it's round, even though it's probably more like square slash, I'd say, cross shape, with some techniques that make the corners rounded a little more than they actually are. So, which is cool. It's a cool technique. It's awesome. I'm all for it. But once you know the technique, you kind of it's not hard to unsee the technique. That if you're just looking at it casually, then you probably your eye will trick you enough to just, oh, it's awesome. It looks exactly round or something, even though it's not totally round. But it still is round in a way, and it's made to look round-ish. Okay, if I could say it that way. But again, here you go. I'm adding more like cheese wedges. I call them that. or more slanted pieces to give it again. That's going to make it look kind of like that round shape that the roundish shape that they're going for this tower. Again, I looked through the book. Oh, by the way, the book's very thick, and that's cool. It's the thickest book I've ever seen for a Lego build of this. It's I was amazed by the instructions alone on this build, and this was awesome. I barely knew about this church. I think I sort of seen it before ever, but once I started building, I started noticing things like this more. I think I noticed it on Lego, but always bypass it, and so I didn't really take a deep look until this arrived, and I looked at it on Amazon, having to check it out on Amazon. Went, wow, I was amazed by this church. So, and started looking more. But the reason why I probably didn't look at these type of buildings before now, not because I wouldn't want to build one or wouldn't want to have a church, because they're just expensive. So if you don't have the money, you're not gonna buy it. But yeah, it's fun for someone. It's fun to add to your Lego city. It's fun to build. Actually, I probably could get just a lot of joy. I'm gonna get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Even when I make afterwards, not just by looking at it, but hopefully being able to make some stop motion animation films with it. Hopefully in the future, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know totally how it's all going to play out with that way, but it's still going to be a fun church to be a part of my city. Even as hopefully, if as I add more, it'll always be there. It'll be a part of my city from now on, and hopefully it'll stay that way for a very, very long time. Maybe not forever. It won't stay, but nothing lasts forever necessarily. Speaking, even though there are things that last a very long time, but hopefully it could be there forever, or at least for a very long time, and it will be something that is joyous for a very, very long time. Yeah. So that's just all that I have. I mean, we're just oh, I screwed up here. Yeah, that's the thing. You kind of go, okay, this direction. Oh, maybe I misinterpreted. It's going this way instead. So that's the thing. But just take your time, build it. If you take your time and build it, it'll just, like I said, take. If you do it all one evening, great. Some of you will be able to. If you can't, then just take your time, especially if this is your first build. Some of these people, this is not their first build. They've built like several modulars, and so they kind of get used to it once you start. I think the next building, depending on what the building is, maybe, but I think the next building will go a lot easier, a lot smoother, because I understand more what's involved in this type of a build. Uh, I still may run into some new stuff. I mean, each building with these type of buildings, like churches, every building, like I've noticed with even the modular buildings, those who have built them, and I've seen basic of some of them built them, have their own techniques to get to certain looks and certain ways of doing things. And so you'll run into new techniques and stuff like that. But at the end of it, you'll be proud. I mean, it's not a it's a complicated, more of a complicated build than just, hey, here's a church. This has technique to it. This has a lot going for it. So I do appreciate that the building style. Now some of the bricks are tougher. Again, I will say this: the stained glass they could color code it better, or let you know this is the color they mean for you to use. So that there's some stuff like that. But overall, am I happy? Yes, I was able to build this church. I always wanted to add a cool church, and now I guess my wish was fulfilled. I'm building this cool church to add to my existing small Lego city, small Lego town that I was able to extend for this, and I didn't even know if I would, because where it fits, I didn't think it would fit there. To be honest, I think it will. I think it'll fit fine. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I think it'll fit fine. Christmas tree sits next to it, so when we do Christmas, we pull out a small Christmas tree that fits on the table. But still, it's big enough. It's big enough, even though it fits on the table. It's still not super small. Um, it's still a tabletop Christmas tree, just a larger tabletop Christmas tree. And so, yeah, it should fit nicely next to it. We'll see how it works. But you know, we use the table. I use the table more for than Lego build. Someday in the future, it would be nice just to have a place to show things or build these type of things, and actually have it more laid out as an actual Lego city with roads and things like that. That would be awesome. I have stuff put away. I would love to pull it out and use it or add it to my Lego city and just kind of But this is what things are. This is how it is for now, and I enjoy every little moment I can, like building this. Yeah, I guess pointing at the top for some reason. I know there's more. I added more. There's a few. There's one thing step I forgot, but it didn't matter because it wasn't that hard. I went back and I ended up. I think. Let's see. Do I do it here? I know I do it here soon, because I'm looking. I know I'm looking, and then I'm realizing. Oh, wait a minute. And I'm down to very few pieces by this point. I mean, we're getting to the end. It's obvious we're getting to the end, and so yeah, I start looking. I'm like, oh, you know, because it's not, it wasn't completely flat. Oh, but okay, okay, I'm not there yet. I will notice it there, but I'm not there yet. Apparently, I forgot. These are the two I would call smaller pieces of corners because they're on the front, because you can see the front there. So I'm not there yet. I know I get to the certain part where I miss a clear thing. You'll see it. I'll probably point it out as it happens because I know I'm getting to the end. So we're going to get to the other part I missed that will make it level with these pieces that are going up, so that I can, you'll see it happen. But yeah, so yeah, I add more sort of, more slanted pieces, but they're smaller. They're not full, obviously the full what we've been building, because they go on the front. Yeah, and the front has already some stuff on there. Of course, there's more added to the front too, and that gets finished off. And that this whole build's been cool. It's all been building pieces, right, over time. Like, okay, now this section, like the wall will be half built. I remember that. There's like I'd I'd build each individual wall until finally the roof was built. And now this tower, look at this tower. This tower's more. When it started, this tower was just like one section was built more than the other. Like the other one was kind of, so it was like a building process. Now, at least this section of the tower is finished. So like the whole round section will be finished. At least this part, and then we got to finish the final top part, the actual tower part of it. But yeah, it's all kind of like how it built up, and you can see the videos. You can see some of the shorts where I show the process, the progress as I've finished each level, and I've enjoyed that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. This has been an amazing process. Again, it's not saying that, it's not trying to inflate the company or anything like that, but I really did enjoy this build as it's happened. I'm getting to the end of it, and I can say I've enjoyed the process. I think I'll probably enjoy the final 2 bags that are left, because there's 10 bags total. I believe I said that. I did say at the beginning of the video. So each bag is taking an hour for me. So if you're like me and you're doing this and building this and showing it off like I did with video, or you maybe just building casually, it may take you like several hours to do it. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's cool. You take time. I mean, you could even build it and show shorts of it. So you don't even have to do what I did. You just build a certain section and then do a short, build another section, do a short. You do it that way. So I like to do this whole build thing because I think it's cool to talk to people, and it's just a cool experience. And it's different than one of my first Lego cities built, where I just build a building and then I happen to show occasional update. Oh, he added a new building. Okay, like I start out with like maybe 2 or 3 buildings. Now I'm up to 5. Something like that. So, but this time you can actually see me and my mistakes and all that is in the process that I took to build these buildings. And now there's videos. Now there's videos out there, and that's what I wanted to do this time. Even with the vehicles, I did that with a lot of my city vehicles. They're all, the one, they're built. And that's my process for this new city. And so this church is part of that process, is building, showing you as I've made a mistake. See, there you go. I know I made a mistake somewhere along there. And there we go. Yeah. I know I'm figuring it out. Oh boy. But it works out. Hopefully here soon. I mean, it's like I said, it shows this video, which is different. It shows that I wish I would have done earlier on and stuff like that. I wish I would have done more, maybe showed more of my, vehicles and stuff. But that's what happened. That's the past for that, and I just want to do things differently now, and just produce more Lego videos, do more, have fun doing it. I enjoy it, and like even like with this, even with some of the buildings, like you kind of look at it and you have fun, and that's what Lego is. It's a process of having fun using your mind. You build something. You made something from bricks, and that's what's cool. You made something like this. Look how this has turned out from just bricks that were in a pile. Now they're turned out to be a church. Or they're turning into something, and of course they're turning into a church. You could, that's what's been going on, and so it's been a great process. It's been an amazing process. I really do love it, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it just as much as I have enjoyed this process building this church. So yeah, this is just again. Sorry about the audio. It got ruined. I hope next time it'll be okay. Uh, so I mean, you can sort of hear me here and there, but I wasn't gonna. I was like, you know what, the audio is important, even if I have to do the voiceover, even if it's not perfect to what I did for the video. At least I did. At least I try to fix it and do it good, so you guys can at least hear my thoughts, or at least sort of see what I put together and describe. It's kind of fun. It gives you a challenge to try to describe what you're doing. Yeah. So these are the angle. Again, we're putting in both sides angle pieces. These are smaller than the full ones in the back side, than the other ones that we built. These are a lot smaller, but they still are doing that same, I guess give you that little bit of that round looking shape, even though it's not totally round. It gives you enough of that your eye kind of goes, oh, it's a round tower, even if it's not totally true. That perception is everything, or even make something look like something. Yeah. Anyway, whatever you want to call it. But it was fun. It was really fun to do this. I hope you guys have enjoyed these type of videos. I've enjoyed. Again, yes, it's a long build. I don't do speed builds. Would I do them in the future? Maybe I've thought about it, but I just wanted to do it differently, and I'm glad. It's because it's a fun process. It's a fun process. It's fun talking. It's fun showing this. It's fun trying to reconnect with people, uh, and try to make it. It teaches me to talk better. To hopefully talk better, do better. You know, and maybe teaches me how to make these voiceovers a little better too, and just have fun. Guys, just have fun. You're not gonna be perfect. I'm not perfect at any of this, but I enjoy it. I enjoy having fun. I enjoy the process of what I've been doing. I've enjoyed this experience. It's just been fun for me. It's been something. I said, would I do a building or anything like this again? Oh yes, this has just been. It's been it's given me. It's to have something like this sent to you, because I don't, especially if someone on disability, things like that. It's just been an awesome, it's been like, hey, someone noticed me and thought I could do this, and it's been an honor to do it. And but we're not finished. We still got more bags to go, so we'll make hopefully the next two videos, the final videos, will do better than what this one did with my voice on the camera. So anyway, we'll have to figure that out. But here you go. Yeah, we're adding final pieces. Like there's a final front decoration to the church that's kind of like you can't see it. It's kind of in the middle. There's like a final middle decoration. I already added one of the pieces in it. There's like a gold piece with like some rod piece, yeah, to make it look like something, right? Maybe it'll look like a bell. I don't know, but there's some cool in the exact middle that isn't finished, and it'll be finished off this video. Um, I know, like I think I'm looking at the top of this. I forget if I know eventually I add the extra another glass piece on the top. Yeah, see, you can see, yeah, see there. I've probably figured it out already, and yeah, here's an extra. And there's I don't know which particularly order this was in, with these glass pieces. But yeah, that you can see. Yeah, I stuck a glass. There was a long glass piece is extra to give it that, so so I could put the final pieces on the top of it. But there you go. Yeah. Again, you got to make sure that some of the pieces go in right away. Some of them don't. I mean, it's fine. It goes in. It goes in. Some pieces can be a little tough, but hey, I've still managed to get them in there. And here you go. There's some white pieces that are these corner, back and front, and yeah, that's just how they did that. That's how they did it. But I think the glass pieces are there probably with the lighting, it'll probably go through. I don't know how well it'll go through, but it's probably meant for that, so the lighting can kind of light up what's inside and then force it up to the top, and then you can kind of see a little bit glow maybe from the top. But most of it will probably be on this bottom section through the stained glass, which will make it look cool. See, there you go. I've looked at the front. See, you can see already have some decorations. I'm adding more. I'm adding this weird S decoration. I mean, they have cool decorations on churches, so it's not like. So this is what I said. This building, this is the first time I've ever had a building that I would even consider this a modular church that was this decorative. Okay, so it is kind of your first building, in my opinion, like that's this detailed in Lego, because I'm experiencing it, is exciting. I mean, it's really exciting. And these are wings. You're adding these weird wings on it. I referred to the church. Well, you got to show the people that it's like the angels. That's I mean, they do have wings. Look like wings. So I think that was my comment for there. But yeah, other than that, I keep building, and there's little pieces. I know there's not very much left. I think I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I got to build this and this and add. So yeah, I'm down to like very few pieces of this. It's of this bag, and again, as I'm looking back through my mistakes of building this church, it's coming. Even though it's not the end yet, it's coming to the end. It's still fun. Still fun to see. It will be fun to see the final product. For now, this part of it is finished. It's just this part of it's becoming finished, and you can see there's not much left of this part. Right now I'm messing with the center piece where the wings were. You got to add these, like there's some curved piece. You got to add it to, yeah, you'll see it. I hope I show it. Yeah, so I'm adding some curved piece right now into it, and that was a little interesting. But yeah, I'm adding some curved wedge piece in there. So kind of, yeah, and then there's kind of like a cool decoration, I guess, built-in decoration. So yeah, and that's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. We're working on a cool built decoration for this. Here you go. We're adding in, yeah, it's all in the middle. This little decoration piece thing for this church is all in the middle of this. Just small pieces. Okay, there you go. There's all these tools. Yeah, you can see I'm putting all these tools. They're going to be extra. I'll probably use them in car shops or construction with Lego people. I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to figure out all the tools I have, but there's this weird tool that looks like a cross that they use out of that, and that's the only piece they use out of it. So even though that other stuff you could always consider a waste for the church, you could use it for your, like, if you put together a car shop, Lego garage, just pull those tools off that piece and put them in the garage or put them in someone's hand, So that's my idea. I think I may use for them, even though I have plenty of tools. I do have plenty of tools for Legos like that, with drills and stuff like that. But yeah, there you go. The cross is at the cross piece. That's the only piece you use from that. So, which I think is supposed to be like a cross wrench or something, but that's the piece they used. So that's what we use for the cross. It looks good. It still looks good. And now we're putting these weird teal green or something like that. I think they're teal green flat pieces. I said they were like weird green, but yeah, teal pieces or whatever you want to call them on there. Yeah. So you could tell it is a weird color. You can probably correct me. If you correct me, that's fine. I don't, that's it's what I'm seeing, So there you go. We put these around. They're like half round flat piece, and this is the finishing part for this. This is where we're finishing off, because the next section is smaller and goes in the middle of these two sections. So, and that's not hard to see that, this is finishing off this, and that's what this church has done. You build up, and then you finish off where you need to finish off, so you can build the next, and now we're going to build the next section. So we finished off by putting these round pieces, and now whatever is going in the center there is going to go in the center and finish that off as the final towers. But see, that's it. We're done. We finished. Look at all that. This is what it's been. It's been a fun journey. Yeah, see, it's finished for now. So this is what's going to look like. And this part is cool because the towers have been unfinished. Now this part of the towers are finished. I like it. I like when it's finished like this, because then at least this part's finished. Even you know that it's the other part will finally be built and finished. So that's what we're looking at right now. I think I'm probably going through instructions, make sure I didn't miss anything, and that's usually what I try to do because I'm like, because there are some stickers I've realized on this that some of the stickers are afterward, so we'll figure that out, and I may just kind of have to put them on. But yeah, some of those are afterward stickers, and we'll figure that out as we go on. But we're getting down there. We're still getting down there. I'm looking through the book again. You can kind of see the corners of the book. I've probably moved the book around, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. As far as I know, I don't think I did because usually the pieces are pretty much enough. You pretty much finish, except the last bag. I was a little bit concerned about because there were 3 pieces when I started. I had to pull them out. I put them in the bag, but I had to pull them out to add the lighting. So they did. They could have probably put that in the next bag instead of wait. But that's just they were just extra pieces. I pulled those out, put them in, put the string of lights around there and put them in. So it was fine. It worked out. But that's usually like with this build. Usually with all the builds, there's no pieces left over so far, except for like the tools. All right, those are the pieces so far that have been left over. So it's kind of interesting. But this time, this is finished. This whole section of this tower is finished, and it was built in 2 builds because you built the base for the towers, and then you built, then now you finally have the towers themselves for the most part finished. And I put the wings back. See, now I'm looking at it. Look how cool it is in the front, the decoration. See, I'm telling you, like you can see the white and the tan, and you see the different browns, and like it's just like kind of like that. It kind of pops out, That's why I like it's that building technique, the popping out. It's right now for a long time, unless something else happens. It's gonna be the most beautiful building in my Lego city. Yeah, that's okay. I love it. It's gonna be something I'm going to be excited about, proud of that I was able to build it. And anyway, but I want to say thank you for watching this video. I want to say God bless you. Till next time, next build, next video. I'll see you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of this as I show this church off. Again, God bless you. And bye for now.